Hello and welcome everyone to Selective Prep Power Thinking Skills Test 8. In this video, we have 9 questions today and we will go through the solutions of each of these selected questions. Our first question was assessing the impact of additional evidence. We want to find which statement most strengthens the above conclusion. So we're going to use our highlighter and highlight some of the main aspects of this paragraph. So given that good ideas can be taken and reused quite easily without the need to obtain anything physical, patents exist in order to remunerate those who have taken the time to develop these new ideas. That just means to give money to, to give credit to. This means that some people are able to develop expertise in creating and engineering products while not having to worry about having their ideas stolen. Therefore, patents are very useful to society. So that is the main idea, right? That patents are very useful to society because people don't have to worry about their ideas being stolen and they can get money from their ideas. So what would strengthen that the most? Well, the option that will have the most positive links. D. Patents, first of all, we know exactly what we're talking about. Patents have incentivized the invention. Incentivize means to motivate, and it kind of has similar meaning to remunerate, which means to motivate with money. Of many essential objects that we use today, from light bulb to telephone, the essentiality of these objects makes patents very useful to society because we have light bulbs and telephones, which are both very useful to society. So D is the best answer here. Number 2, Aryan rolls a 6-sided die 2 times. What is the probability of him obtaining an even number of rolls? So the first roll, remember our probability, the fraction is always what we want over total possible combinations. So what do we want? We want even numbers. We have 2, 4, 6. That is a total of 3 numbers. So the first roll, 3 over a total possible 6. That is actually a half chance, right? Now the second roll, there is going to be no impact from the first roll. Just because I rolled an even doesn't mean I can't roll an even in the second one, right? So it's again going to be half chance. To find the combined probability, you're going to times. Half times half is a quarter, which is D. Number 3, assessing the impact of additional evidence. So again, we want to find the weakening conclusion. Let's actually grab a highlighter. So houses in the city have become much more expensive as people move to suburbs in order to find better jobs. This means that houses have become much more unaffordable in the last few years and that people have been priced out of buying their own homes. To combat this is the argument, to combat this, the government should incentivize, that word again, so motivate building apartments rather than houses to make it cheaper for people to buy their own homes. That is a main idea. The main idea is that they should incentivize the building of apartments over houses to make it cheaper. What would weaken this conclusion? Well, if we had any evidence, to show that apartments aren't that much cheaper, then there is no point of building the apartments. And B is that, right? Apartments, when built, are not significantly cheaper than houses, so it actually backfires on this argument that is presented here. So B is your answer. Number 4, using tables. Vincent wants to hire a quad bike for 4 hours. However, he lost track of time and went overtime by 3 hours. Vincent only has that much money and he asked his friends to borrow the rest. How much did Vincent borrow from his friend? Okay, so we hire it for initial 4 hours. So the hire time is here, right? We have 2 hours and any additional hour over 2 hours is $96. So we have 250. And then we're going to times 2 to 96, which gives us 192. So we're going to add that to 250, 7 carry over, 407 for the initial 4 hours. Now he accidentally goes overtime by 3 hours. Any overtime will give you a fine of 124, or fee of 124. Times it by 3. 4 3s are 12, carry the 1. 3 2 6 7, 3 1s are 3. So we'll add the 372 for overtime. Plus it together, you get $779. Now, Vincent only has this much, so he has to borrow from his friend. Don't forget to line up your decimals. 648.50, you minus 0. You borrow 8, 10, 5, drop the decimal. 8 minus 8 is 0. 7 minus 4 is 3. 7 minus 6 is 1. $130.50 as your answer, which is B. Number 5. So Amy and Sally were having a dice rolling competition, whereas the person who got the highest number won the rounds. They played 5 rounds and Timmy is observing. Timmy says, I wasn't watching the entire competition, but I know for sure that Amy won 2 rounds, meaning Sally won 3. Sally must have won. So what is the mistake? Well, just because Amy won 2 rounds, okay, doesn't mean that every round that she had was a winner. Okay, so basically there is a 1 in 6 chance that they'll get the same number in a certain round, meaning the round can end in a draw, or it could be Amy that won, or it could be Sally that won. Okay, so because of this number 2, okay, it's not exactly half, and we cannot tell for sure who won. So that's why B is the answer. Okay, they could have gotten the same number, which means there could have been a draw. So you can have a read through the solutions for more detail about that. Number 6, we have Jason playing rock, paper, scissors with 1 round. What is the probability of him winning? So rock, paper, scissors, there are 3 chances, right? We have rock, paper, scissors. And obviously on this side, it's also rock, paper, scissors. So I actually have a diagram. I should have this now. So basically the winning combinations are written here, right? So if I draw a rock, then the other person could be rock, paper, or scissors, right? If I draw a rock to win, they have to have scissors. If I draw paper to win, they have to have rock. If I have scissors to win, they have to have paper, right? So the winning combinations are circled. There are 9 total combinations. Okay, you can see 9 total combinations. And out of them, there are 3 winning. So by drawing a tree diagram or by writing out the outcomes, you can see 3 out of 9, which is a third chance of winning. Okay, 7. Tanya's conducting an experiment involving a regularly laid out 6-sided die. She has been told that this die may not be fair and have been told to investigate. She rolls the die 6 times and gets every value from 1 to 6 1 time each. Therefore, she says, because I rolled every single possible value on this die at once, the die must have been fair. What is the mistake in Tanya's statement? So, first of all, it could have been pure luck, right? If you think about it, even if the die was weighted towards one side, for example, it had more weight towards 1 and very little weight towards 6, she might have gotten that very little slim chance of getting a 6 just from coincidence. So just because she rolled it 6 times and she got every value from 1 to 6 doesn't mean it is fair. To make it fair, she needs to do more repetitions to kind of cancel out or lessen the effect of chance. Okay, the more repetition she does and the more sample space that she has, which means the more number of rolls, she can determine for sure what the fairness of this die is. So actually the answer here is B. Tanya has not rolled the die enough to make a fair judgment and could have received her results by random chance. Okay, and that makes sense. Okay, 8. So one of the most frequent issues that will travel internationally is the need for different currencies across the countries. To solve this, we should look at the European Union. where one unified currency has already been adopted. Given that it is possible in one region, this concept should be extended for the world so that global trade and travel become easier for everybody. Now, which one is an assumption? So obviously we have taken this example in Europe, and this statement is saying we want to apply it to the whole world. There is a clear issue with that, right? It's a contextual issue. Just because something works in one area, one specific context, doesn't mean that it works everywhere. So that's why C is the answer. Okay? Just because the adoption of unified currency was easy, okay, in one part of the region, doesn't mean it is easy for the whole world or practical. And last question of the day, finding the correct reasoning. So Nathan was observing cars that were passing on a quiet street. Nathan says, the last time I came here, I saw 40 cars that were either red, silver, or black. However, this time I only saw 24 cars. 14 were black, 3 were red. It must not have been a very busy day, but there was a large variety of colors. How many silver cars do you think I saw? Okay, so he's saying that there's a larger variety of cars, which means more than red, silver, or black, right? The word comparative, larger. So how many silver cars do you think I saw? Mary says, in total you saw 27 cars, 17 were black or red. I don't think that allows me to figure out how many silver cars, but it was definitely less than 7. Okay, there's 24 cars altogether, and 17 of them are already taken, okay? So that means that there must be 7 or less, and because there is a larger variety of colors, that means it's more than 3, i.e. 4 plus. So if all 7 of the remaining cars were silver, you cannot have more than 4 colors, right? There must be at least one car that is another color to make it 4 colors. So that's why it's definitely less than 7. Mary is correct. Ethan says, no, Mary, you must have done the maths wrong. Since 14 were black and 3 were red, in the time Nathan was counting cars, 7 must have been silver. Because of this larger variety of colors, meaning more than 3, Ethan, is incorrect. Okay, and this is a very definitive statement, must have been incorrect. So that's why Mary only, B is your answer. So key points to this test. As per usual for additional evidence questions, okay, it is crucial you find the main argument in the paragraph provided, okay? Then find key links, okay, to the answer options. Remember to be aware of if the question is asking for supportive evidence or contrasting, okay, evidence. So weakening or strengthening. Another thing we could talk about is probability. Okay, remember the golden rule. Probability is always what we want over what total combinations we have. Okay. Okay, so that concludes today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed that, and I will see you next week with Thinking Skills Test 9.